Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome back to Sunless Sea. Last time we were here, we ran into a little bit of trouble and took a very large amount of damage on our ship as we try to make our way around the southern edge of the sea, exploring a little bit more things we haven't seen in a while, dropping by Port Carnelian, Adam's Way, the Fathom King's Hold, and making our way around these areas. Now we've made our way over here to the Mangrove College before we head down to explore this section of unexplored south, with its mysterious locations marked on the map here sometimes. So we're going to go and investigate that soon. But while we're here, we incidentally have discovered that we have a lot of candles. And I've never tried this before, but we can head into the Wispways if we want. We have the supplies we need. We have 4 candles, which should be quite a few, so we might head down there. As it says, the swamps around the village are full of mud, crocodiles, and vegetable treasures, including the notorious parasite called solace fruit. The fogs and spreading branches occlude all light. This is probably a dangerous thing to do, but we're going to head in here anyway and experiment, because at this point, we might as well. We can leave at any time, but if we get far in enough, we'll generally find something interesting. Alright then, we've lost a supply, we've lost one of our candles, and we've moved to a new area. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Narrow waterways and quaggy paths, marsh lights and mud. Now and then, parasynthetic mosses like shaggy curtains. Now and then, a questing tentacle. Each event will take us further into the swamp. Go deep enough and we'll find something interesting. Well, the first step here. The banks are too crowded with mangroves for us to pass. We have to wade through a mirror-surfaced pool. It's a mirrors challenge at 35% chance of success. Well, let's see if that works out for us. Oh, well then, that's not a good start. That's not a good start at all. A disappearance. Our sailors wade in, guns held above their heads. Ripples spread, intersect. Travel on into darkness. Bats chirp with derision as we pass. All seems quiet, but when we leave the pool, a leech the color of milky jade is clamped, pulsing to our thigh. Its color is shifting rapidly to a rosy pink. Already we feel weaker. Dispatch it. Well, we've lost another candle, and we have a wound. That's not a good start. Did we not even make any progress here? This seems like it's just going to kill us. If we're in the same place and we have to pass these challenges to progress, maybe this is not the right time for this. We're going to run out of candles very quickly, too. Well, maybe this was a poor choice. It may be time to bail and take our wound and go. We'll come back here once we're a little bit stronger, maybe. Hours later, we squelch out into the relative safety. We need a bath. How we need a bath. Thank God that a steamer is never short of hot water. Well, we only gained 1 terror there, but the wound is annoying. I think maybe we could have been able to get through there if we'd have been a little bit luckier, but I have a feeling that since we started off with the very first event in what may have been a many-event chain, giving us a wound, it wouldn't have been a very wise choice. While we're here, though, we'll gather some supplies, since we have a good amount of space in our storeroom and could use a little bit more. And let's see what happens. We should be able to get quite a bit here. There we go. Wonderful things. Our crew strips a stretch of shoreline bare. It'll have burgeoned again by next week, no doubt. We gained 4 supplies. That should help. We could pick up a passenger here, but I don't think it makes much sense. This expedition into the south has been a little bit more troublesome than I might have expected. For now, though, we head down to the very south, to Varcas, and then back up in this direction, to explore what's hidden in this central area here. If we send out our Z-Bat, I doubt it'll discover much, but it might be worth taking a look around. We had crew to spare, so if the events had just been removing our crew, we probably would have been fine. But the fact that it, was wounding us directly made things a little bit more hazardous. We can't survive that kind of direct confrontation for long. We're approaching Varcas, the mirrored city. We haven't been here in a while, but it might be good for us to go by and see what we can see. We found Jack-a-Dandy's stack, apparently. Probably we've seen one or two of these places before, especially since they have their names on them. But for whatever reason, they weren't detected on our map. For now, we'll simply sail down to Varcas and see what adventures await us there before we head into the very edge of the world. We will have to be very careful, though. Any enemies waiting for us will need to be fled from at high speed, because we really, really can't survive much of a fight right now. But here we are, heading back into Varcas. We've been here once before. We'll see what happens. Returning to Varcas. The walled city of Varcas is a tangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers slow blooming around moldering stone. A quincunx of carved step towers, rise over the walls and pour burning white light into the bleak sky. A rough-shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varcas. 2 towering carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and a blue-cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-hushed, sprawling darkness of the Elder Continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Well, let's go on in. The guard at the mirrored gate smiles. Clearly, she remembers us. The blue-cloaked guard waves us through. Walk in the light of me here. Our eyes are blinded by the brilliance of the light. The verdant rot smell is even thicker. The heat of so much flame and reflected light presses oppressively against our skin. Our head pounds. It is a few minutes before our eyes adjust and we can look around. Brass lamps and gilded sconces hang from every wall, and phosphorescent fungus grows moss-like upon doorways and ceilings. Cunningly arranged mirrors catch every droplet of light and diffuse it till each cobblestone and rampart of the city is drenched and blazing, and utterly without shadow. Who do we speak to? We can speak to the white-cloaked guard, or we can speak to the fungus carter. Let's speak to the fungus carter today. Maybe they'll know something interesting. Her cart is piled high with fungal blooms and jars of algae painstakingly scraped from the surfaces of walls. She stops every few minutes to cough surreptitiously into her dye-cotton scarf, and eyes us warily when we approach.
I have to take this load all the way to the sacred district, and the priests don't like it if I'm late.
We inquire politely about her cough, and she looks suddenly terrified.
"Here, look down on me," she mumbles. "Please don't say anything. I have a family to feed."
With that, she grabs the handles of the cart and pulls away at a run. Within a few moments, we've lost sight of her in the crowded pathways. What an odd woman. We've gained a terror. The first tower bell has sounded. We've gained a tale of terror. Time to explore, I think. The mirrored city gleams invitingly. We'll get used to the smell in time. There are a number of places we can go here. We have an invitation to the mansion of the jewel-turbaned youth. We already have the respect of the guard. We need the dour-faced nurse's approval, and the Agnihotri's interest, apparently, as well as the jewel-turbaned youth's invitation. Well, we need 3 things to do this. We have enough time to try 3 things, so perhaps we'll start this out. We need Varcas, the dour-faced nurse's approval. So let's head to the hospital, then. Are we feeling a little fevered? Do we hope to learn medical secrets? Or perhaps we just enjoy the moans and flushed faces of the sick and suffering? What do we have to do here? We could go to the fungal infections ward. They keep it cool and closed off. The doctors and nurses all wear masks when they enter. How bad could a fungal infection be? There's also the mirrorless room. The ward is locked several times over, and the dour-faced nurse looks uncomfortable when we mention it. There's the open ward as well, where we see patients sprawling on their beds, playing card games and chatting to visitors. Most of them have minor injuries. We can also offer the services of the brisk campaigner if we'd won her trust, but we can offer the services of the haunted doctor. We have won his trust, and he'll come in and visit. Okay then, let's see if the haunted doctor can come help. The determined doctor, in fact. The dour-faced nurse watches us carefully as we assist the doctor in cleaning wounds and changing bandages. She gives us a satisfied nod. The guards are pleased to have a new attendant, and call us Nurse Tamas with warm, welcoming mockery, which makes us feel part of their crew. The doctor essays a cautious smile. We see the nurse watch him consideringly. "Good work," she says at the end of your shift, handing you each a cup of steaming mushroom tea. It relieves us greatly. Do we detect a hint of tree sap liquor at the bottom of the cup? And something else. Something of the south. We've gained an iron, we've gained a hearts, we've gained a memory of distant shores, we've gained a mirrors, we have the dour-faced nurse's approval, we've gained 5 fragments and lost 1 terror. Well, that worked out quite well for us, didn't it? Did we just get ejected from the city? Did I eject myself from the city? What happened there? I'm not sure what just happened there. Well, let's visit the mansion of the jewel-turbaned youth. We've been invited last time we were here, and it's been a long time since we've been by. Let's see what he wants. We walk galleried courtyards, wreathed with vines and fungal blooms. Long straight roadways crisscross the length and breadth of Varcas, the stone worn by the wheels of carts and the tread of thousands of slippered feet. Lamplighters constantly check the fuel levels of the sconces and replace wicks. Firekeepers check the coiled spring mechanisms that control the angle of the mirrors. There's much to explore, and so we head to the Eastern District, to the mansion of the jewel-turbaned youth where we were invited. We're not sure entirely what we were expecting from the jewel-turbaned youth's invitation. Perhaps a candlelit dinner and a genteel seduction. It turns out to be an evening of card games and chilled wine with his rather eclectic collection of friends. But as the wine is drunk and the cards are played, the gathering takes on a certain political tone. A raggedly dressed artisan begins complaining of the Agnihotri's trade restrictions. A novice priest points out contradictions in Mihir's mantras. A stone carver questions whether his daughter should also have to follow in the same profession. "Will you," the jewel-turbaned youth stares at us, licking his lips, "will you tell us a story?" Well, we could decline firmly. We could tell them of ourselves. Fair enough. We could invent a fanciful tale, or we could tell a wanderer's tale. I'd like to tell them a story, but I don't want to just tell them of ourselves. I think it'd be fun to tell them something they'll have a good time enjoying. A fanciful tale could be good. It's probably better for us to try that than a wanderer's tale, just because it has more chance of success. It might be more exciting to try the more challenging one if we can succeed, but our veils aren't particularly powerful here, and I'd rather not get in trouble if we can help it. Let's see if we can get away with inventing a fanciful tale. Our crew would have enjoyed this tale, and probably added their own asides and embellishments. Still, we couldn't have hoped for a more appreciative audience. They gasp and moan and shudder guiltily as our story comes to a climax. Afterwards, the jewel-turbaned youth takes us by the hand. His own is shaking, and his skin is clammy. "We are forbidden from the trickery of storytelling in Varcas," he tells us hoarsely. "I have never heard anything so sublime." Well, we've gained a searing enigma, and we've succeeded in our Veils challenge. What do you know? That's a nice reward, too. Searing enigmas are kind of a big deal. But we have a change in our invitation here, it seems. We have the Agnotiri's interest. I don't know what that involves. Let's go to the Temple of Mihir and see if that perhaps has something to do with the final piece we're missing. I don't know if we really want to go on this pilgrimage, but it could be interesting, at the very least. So we'll go to the Temple of Mihir for now. The sound of bells grows louder and more reverberant as we approach. The temple tower pierces through the city's heart, taller than the other 4 towers which stand at each of the cardinal points. Around the temple sprawls the sacred district, vine-covered stone shrines, still ponds glowing with algae and flash-finned carp, priests in white, their wrists heavy with metal chains. There are no mirrors in the Temple of Mihir. The rest of the city has to make do with mirrored light and reflection, but Mihir's most sacred space is filled with hundreds of lamps and lit candles of hard-packed phosphorescent fungus. Here we can listen to the mantras, We can examine the bas-reliefs. We can have dreams of smoke, if we've had one before. Ooh, the Agnihotri, rather. The Sunseers are here as well. Blue Scintillac. We could try and sell them our magnificent Scintillac, which of course we will not do. Or we could visit the Shrine of Mihir and place a lamentable relic, which might do something good for us. But the Agnihotri... a 51% chance of success here. I think we want to try and gain the Agnihotri's interest. It turns out we went to exactly the right place. What a surprise. He's overseeing the rituals and gives us a slanted glance. Well, we have a 50% chance of success. Let's investigate. Well, we failed. We try to slide through the crowd towards the Agnihotri. Alas, he is distracted by a pilgrim carrying a broken mirror like an injured child. Best not to interrupt. Well, we attempted our best here, but it looks like we may not be able to do it again. Oh, no, it seems we can, although we will be forced out after this. Let's attempt this at the very least. I'd love to be able to progress in here if we can. Ah, there we go. No, I'm not so sure here. We'll see. We go to pay our respects, and he is at pains to impress upon us that he is no despot or tyrant prince, but rather rules Varcas with his council of Sunseers and Firekeepers. What do you think of Varcas so far, Tomas? He asks, and we know better than to mutter anything but meaningless platitudes in response. He nods as though satisfied, but we catch him giving us a sharp, speculative looks as we wander around the temple. That's an interesting contradiction in number there. It seems we have aroused his interest. Well, we've gained a Veils, which is nice. We've succeeded in the challenge and gained a Veils, and we now have the interest of the Agnihotri, although it's now much too late for us to do anything else. Return to the city center. We may be able to go on a pilgrimage now that time is up. Yes, we can. Well, I have no idea what this is involving. No idea at all. But we can do it now, and so we will. We'll take the pilgrimage to Amaradri. The Agnihotri seeks wisdom. The sick are ready to begin the long journey. The young and the restless have made their plans. The swords of the guard have been renewed. The pilgrimage is ready to begin. Let's investigate. I have no idea what kind of mysteries may be going on here. The we saw this already. It is hard not to be carried along by the excitement and anticipation of the Varcasi. Let's go. It seems as though half the city has joined the pilgrimage to the Mountain of Light. The other half lines the streets and hangs out from upper-story windows to watch their friends and loved ones depart. Musicians play stirring tunes on polished brass instruments and little calabash lyres, all undercut with the rhythmic sound of drums. A towering machine piled high with fungus is wheeled to the front of the procession. The drivers sit in a lamplit cabin at the front, their faces grim. The Agnihotri raises his hand, and a hush falls over all of Varcas. The mirrored gates slide open, rays of light reflecting jaggedly. Outside, the Elder Continent is dark and hushed and vast. You have the dizzying feeling that it is vaster and onyx blacker than the Untersee, somehow. But that cannot be. Wish us luck, Thomas. The Agnihotri is next to us, at the very front of the procession. His aging face looks suddenly youthful and taut. His eyes glimmer with purpose. We can only nod, weakly. I guess we're not going with him, then. The Agnihotri laughs wildly, and then shouts a command, and the machine rumbles out of the city gates. It lays down two thick rows of fungus to either side of it. The lamplighters dart to the very edge of the darkness and light the fungus with their torches. It blazes up, illuminating the path inland in brilliant, white, rot-scented light. The people of Varcas cheer so loudly, we think our eardrums will burst. The pilgrims stream slowly out of the city in a glimmering procession, leaving it half empty behind them. We've gained a secret and 7 memories of distant shores. Well then. But that's what it is here. The atmosphere in Varcas is deflated, melancholy after the pilgrims depart. We know when to leave. Besides, our crew is probably growing restless. Interesting. The guard gives us a quick grin as she opens the mirrored gates for us, and makes a mark in her ledger as we step out of the circle of light. The familiar shadowy bleakness of the Neath is comforting against our skin. Our ship awaits. Well then, I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but, I assume when we come back here sometime, something interesting will be waiting for us. For now, though, I suspect it's time to simply move along. And so we will. The Z is a mysterious place, but we've learned a little bit as we've gone here. We may stop by King Eater Castle, if we can get in there easily without running into a variety of horrible, horrible monsters along the way. Or dangerous opponents or what have you, because clearly, while we are much more militarily powerful than once we were, we're not quite strong enough to face off against everything the Z has to throw at us just yet. We can certainly fight, but we can't just fight everything. As we sail further through here, though, hopefully we'll make some new discoveries, which should gain us some more secrets. There's a rift here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. A golden dreadnought. No, I have no interest in fighting one of those. It looks as though we're very close to the area we've been meant to find, though. And perhaps this is it. The Sea of Statues is right here. You've discovered the Sea of Statues. What could possibly go wrong in here? It looks as though... Look at the face in the water there. It looks as though there's nowhere to take port here, though. It's just an interesting observance. I think we are going to head into King Eater Castle, though, since we're right here. How did I manage to not see that? We've been into King Eater Castle and managed to do it without noticing the Sea of Statues. I guess we snuck right around the edges because there was that golden dreadnought right out in front, so we never really saw it. Let's drop by here, though, at Pennington. There's not much for us to see here, if memory serves. All it's here is horrible things. An old voracity lives here, in the far reaches of the Z. We could sacrifice 3 Zailers. We can heal our flesh. No, thank you. I think not. We can do an act of burning faith. If our terror is very high, we can burn our supplies and our fuel to lower our terror. We can lose our mind. Offer our thoughts at the altar. Do not do this. We can eat our crew. Do not do this. This will destroy all your crew and any human or near-human officers. The struggle will wound or even kill you. Yes. Construct the fulgent impeller. We need a casket of sapphires for that. Interesting. In order to do this, we need the unsettling sage, though, which we haven't acquired. We need the mechanic's secret, which is lost in Frostfound. We need 40 Stygian ivory, and we need an element of dawn, which is quite a lot of stuff to slow us down here. The fulgent impeller sounds quite fancy, though. And it costs 5 crew, perhaps. Well then. Let's compile our port report and move on. Everything is horrible. Let's go. What a surprise. This horrible place had nothing in store for us. Let's just try and get out of here with our lives. King Eater's Castle. Such a bizarre and unwelcoming place. But the Chelonit is nearby, and we can perhaps make some progress in finding Maybe's mother there, so we'll sail on up and see what they have for us. It could prove most illuminating. We are a little bit low on fuel, though. Our supplies are good, but our fuel is somewhat questionable. We'll sail on, though, and see what there is to find. Got to love the disturbing music in this part of the world. Oh, look at that lovely ribcage that we'll sail right through. I hope there's nothing else horrible around here. I'm going to use our lights for a minute just to help make sure nothing manages to sneak up on us. Another ribcage. Or spine, rather. Right on the edge of the world, like Porzia's reef. Well then, let's make a quick visit to the Chelinet. And hopefully, we won't regret our expedition here. Here at Shableport, what can we do? Alright then. Can we finally meet our contact? Yes, we can. With a hunting trophy, we can actually do this now. A mutilated hunter makes her home in a plastron at the wretched end of the shell. Well, the more wretched end. Her face is half immobile from a jellyfish sting. We gave her a hunting trophy, and she'll share her Z gossip. She has Z stories for us. Drowny whispers, Chelinet murder myths, truths found engraved on bound shark harnesses, and she adds, "Tell the Admiral, our hunters are eyeing Aestival. There is a temptation now." She eyes us. "But I suspect you'd know that, wouldn't you?" We have a strategic information, an intriguing snippet, and 3 Z stories for our single hunting trophy. That worked out quite well for us, I'd say. What else can we do here? We can acquire our port report. We can help Maybe's daughter search for her mother. Port report compiled. We've seen that before, though. Tales for the Bone. We'll investigate that momentarily, but first, help Maybe's daughter search for her mother. I couldn't understand why she came here to begin with, but... She gestures around us at the designs sketched on hide and scratched on stone. It's all tattoos, the alphabets of bone and flesh. That's what our family keeps coming back to. She frowns. Our family is strange in every way imaginable. Well, what does this give us? This gives us, what, like a 2% chance? 4% chance. Alright, let's investigate. No luck. I have found some of these, though. Well, found. You can have one. Are you going to be stern with me? They have so many trophies, they don't know what to do with them. Anyway, we're getting closer. I can feel it. I swear. Okay, well, we just replaced our hunting trophy, so that works out well. Still a bunch of other places to look for her, though, and before we leave, we'll quickly investigate the Tales for the Bone. What is this all about? Someone is crying unusual wares. Follow the sound. Aha! Good, we have what we need here. Okay. We can pay the chronicler to inscribe a Z-story onto a hunting trophy and we'll receive an outlandish artifact. I think we only need one more of those. This is actually perfect. Let's do this. Whistling, the chronicler does his work. With a flourish, he returns us a beautifully engraved piece of bone.
A good tale,
He concedes.
good enough.
He leans closer.
You're a Z captain, aren't you? Bring me a tale worthy of the bone, and I'll shape something worthy of you. I've long sought the tale of the glory's end. Glory is what we call this beast.
He gestures around us with the turtle shell.
None still live from those days, when we slew her. But the saying is, the tale still lives on history's beach. Bring me that tale, Z captain, please.
We've gained an outlandish artifact. I think we need 7, so we're 1 away from our total here. We've lost a supply, a hunting trophy, and a Z-story, but that worked out quite well. Our memoir's Glory's Bones quality is now the Scrimshaw Chronicler has asked us to seek the tale of Glory's death on history's beach. Interesting. Okay, well, we've learned something new there. And we'll have to bring him something to resolve that. For now, though, I think we're going to have to end our adventures for today here. So, yes, indeed. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, exploring the south of the Sunless Sea. If you enjoyed today's episode, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and until next time, bye-bye.